That's one of the best podcasts ever. Ever. Top 5 dead or alive. Caviar. I'm your host, Tony, in the Ministry of Silly Talks. Again, as usual, with Graham in the building.
Hello.
We are going to continue Season 3 of Pod Caviar, dealing with the inmates at ADX Colorado. And this week, we are going to focus on this dumb-looking, stupid smile-having ass traitor to the United States, Robert Hanssen.
Yeah, this guy looks like a child molesting a real estate agent.
Yeah, look at his fucking dinosaur teeth that he has. It looks like he can just chew through bones.
Yeah.
This dumb fucking idiot. But anyway,
he looks like he wants to teach me 8th grade science in the most boring manner possible.
Yeah, he's that guy.
This is going to have to be, the picture of him is going to have to be your featured image.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah. This guy he used to be a member of the FBI. He turned into a double agent back in 1979. So from 1979 to 2001, he willingly and knowingly worked with the Russian government, KGB, and gave them sensitive material, all for money.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah.
He just woke up one day and was like, I need extra money. And then he decided to turn his back on his country.
It says that here he did it from 1979 to 2001.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long run.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had a lot of time to reconsider.
Yeah. Yeah. The few things that he did, him being in the FBI and prominent positions in the FBI, he knew how to not be caught. He did tell the Russians about a bunch of spies that were working for us.
Jesus.
So a lot of those guys got killed. They had some double agents that got killed. He should have died, but after they caught him, he did a plea deal. So he is serving, let's see, what is it? Took plea deal to escape death penalty. Yeah, 15 life sentences at ADX Colorado instead of the death penalty. For those of you who don't know, the way the law is set up, those people who get caught as double agents working with foreign countries, they are eligible for the death penalty.
Yeah, it's high treason.
Yeah, it is treason, and they should die. I think some people say something like in wartime, then it is almost guaranteed that they will. But
yeah,
also the way the law is set up in America, we have plea deals that prevent this from happening. And this is a prime example of
it. Caveat in the way our laws are structured for that kind of thing.
Yeah, so this fucking dumb smile having ass bastard. If you've ever seen the movie Breach, that was a movie about him.
Okay.
That was a really good movie. I remember seeing it when it came out. That's when I first... No, that's not when I first heard about him. I remember when he got caught.
Mm-hmm.
So when the movie came out, I was like, oh shit, this is an in-depth look at how he got caught. And knowing myself and how I enjoy these stories and everything, I watched that movie and then I looked at the story. The movie is pretty much a good interpretation of the facts and the reality of what happened. So if you have spare time and you want a movie to look at, just check out Breach. It's a good movie. This podcast, we're going to go through the facts of what he did. We're also going to make a lot of fun about this guy.
Yeah, I mean, this guy just looks like a dick.
Yeah, he is. And there were some things like the Russians didn't know his identity, but they knew that he worked for the FBI because of the material that he gave to them. There were things called dead drops. For those of you who don't know what that is, you basically pick an area, a park or something, and then you take money, or in his case, he had the material that he wanted to pass on to them, and he would leave it there under a bench or under when they caught him, he was trying to leave material under a bridge in a park. That was the dead drop. So from 1979 to 2001, that's what he did with the KGB. There was a brief hiatus, but he soon, I think it was a year, but after that year was up, he started working with them again, and it ended in 2001. He got caught because the United States had their double agents, and they paid I think they paid like $10 million for information on him and another guy that was working in the CIA, and they ended up catching both of these guys. But in contrast, if he was getting he got $1.4 million from the Russians from 79 to 01. We paid $10 million to a double agent that was working for us
in one whop.
For one whop.
Yeah,
so
just one fell swoop.
Yeah, you're serving 15 life sentences. You sold yourself short. And if anybody knows me personally, you never sell yourself short.
Never.
Don't do that, you know? And it's wild because if you work for the government, you understand there's a pay scale just like anywhere else mostly. And he was high up enough to where he could easily be making six figures as an FBI agent, but he wanted more money, so he decided to turn his back on his country from 79 to 01 for $1.4 million. That's it. He said that
he was basically so he was basically doing it for like $60,000 a year.
So
for 30 years, he made an extra $60,000 a year.
Right. And now he's serving 15 life
literally
sentences.
Risking his life. Turning his back on his country.
Right.
And not just like, because I think the temptation would be there for someone if a foreign government was like, we give you $60,000 a year if you tell us, what time this guy comes and goes from his office.
Yeah.
You'd be like, that's a little shady, but that seems kind of innocuous.
Yeah.
He's like literally divulging the names and locations and identities
and he
of
went
his
to them
colleagues
first.
Who were secret agents who were eventually executed or kicked out of the country or the work they were doing was cut short. What a dick.
Yeah. And he initiated contact with the Kremlin just because he wanted more money. They didn't come and get him. He went to them.
Wow.
It's a crazy
like he
story.
Just came up with it on his own.
Yeah.
Dick.
He, like I said, he woke up one day and was like, you know what? I need more money, so I'm going to see what the Russians are talking about. The same thing happened with the other guy from the CIA who sold a lot of shit to I think he was working with China.
Yeah.
This happens here. This is happening right now.
Oh, of course.
And I don't mean to spook anybody, but it's the reality of the reality that we live in, so to speak.
Yeah.
It happens. So if you see movies like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which is a great movie
it's a great movie,
unbelievable.
I had to
movie.
watch it 3 or 4 times to even figure out what the hell was going on.
Right.
And I was enthralled every time.
Yeah.
But it was just like, God, it's so dense.
Yeah.
Like the way it twists and turns is so dense. It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Check that movie out. But that happens, and it's been happening, and it's part of the reason why I don't identify or I don't see eye to eye with people who don't like the over patriotism that we show in America. You have to, it's not us being cocky.
No.
We can be cocky. Let's be real. Even America right now, with the president that we have right now.
Maybe back up a little bit for the mic. There you go. Yeah, that'll fix it.
Maybe we shouldn't be as cocky as we are.
Right.
But we're not as cocky as we can be.
No.
And it's because that we are real enough to know that our country is screwed up. But at the same time, there has to be a certain level of patriotism for your country so that you don't have guys that work for the government that do this all the time.
No, it's definitely requisite. And I mean, and I think people confuse regularly that the idea that like somehow if you're a patriot and you love America or you love whatever country you live in, that somehow that means you blindly support everything they do.
Right.
Which is totally inaccurate.
No.
No. Even though we were the troops in the early stages of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars.
Yeah.
Even when I was serving, I totally disagreed with what we were doing there.
Yeah.
Especially once we invaded Iraq. That didn't mean that I hated America.
Right.
And it's like the Colin Kaepernick thing. Like, what he was first of all, he was talking about police brutality. He wasn't actually disrespecting the flag. It didn't have anything to do with fucking veterans.
No,
so
it didn't.
Shut up.
Yeah,
this
so
isn't
I hate
about
that
you.
shit. And then most of the people that complained about it were also at home sitting down
exactly
on their ass while the national anthem played. So
yeah, but also let's devil's advocate. Let's say he was like fuck veterans and took a knee, dude. That is his right as an American.
Yeah.
That is like like in the 70s when the Supreme Court finally ruled on whether or not it was legal to burn the American flag.
Right.
The decision was that burning the American flag is like a bedrock. I don't agree with it.
No.
But it's a bedrock principle of this country. The reason it's like one of the deepest founding parts of this country is you have the right to protest the behavior of your government. It doesn't mean that you hate the country you live in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Disagreeing with a politician, disagreeing with your neighbor about the way the country is being run doesn't mean that one of you loves the country more than the other one.
No.
But if you are in a position where the rest of us, while we're engaging in this behavior, we're able to engage in this behavior as a society because we're protected from foreign entities, because our intelligence community is so strong and they're out in the world doing shit you don't want to know about. Those guys are staying up at night while you're sleeping in this wonderful, even if you want to think of it as a gilded cage. Like all of that is necessary. And if you're one of the people charged with protecting that bubble and you do some shit like this guy did, absolutely you deserve a needle.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And one of the things that it's a big thing about people who have security clearances is that they look at your allegiance to your country, and it has to be that. They're not taking us and putting us in a chair and like brainwashing us on some fucking
like Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange shit. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, like that's not that. No, it's just that if you want to serve America, that you have to love America. You have to love, and it doesn't matter what country you talk about. Of course, we're Americans, so we're going to talk about American. But if you serve the United Kingdom, then you're going to be loyal to Great Britain.
Yeah, if you're an MI6 agent, they expect you to not fucking give information to the Chinese.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They expect you to,
and it even gets down to the part that, look, we have allies, but we don't even want you giving shit to them. Because,
exactly.
It's just levels to this shit.
Yeah, well, and there's British spies working in our government. And we have American spies working in their government. We tap their phones, they tap our phones. I mean, that's all.
It's one of those
part of the deal.
I imagine that if we catch a British spy, it's more like a come on,
oh, you know that,
you cheeky bastard.
They'll trade. They just trade them back. But I mean, shit. Our president 2 years ago went into a meeting with the Russians and divulged confidential information, and all of his supporters were like, "Well, that's cool." And like, whether you're a supporter or not, if you are an American, you should be like, "That's unacceptable."
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean?
The majority of Americans did say that was unacceptable. And the Mueller probe just got it summed up everything. They didn't find that Trump. This is what came out of that.
Yeah, see, but this hasn't all been put to bed yet.
No, it hasn't been put to bed yet. So let's make that known. Let's put the asterisks on that. But from the preliminary reports that I saw, it seems that he fell into the same trap that Bush fell into, but in a more severe way. That he might not be the best guy for the job, but he seemed to have surrounded himself by guys that were absolute crooks. Yeah. So he might not have worked with Russia.
Yeah.
But his people, his squad definitely
Of course
did.
they
and
did.
that's why they got
Well, and
indicted.
some of those guys are going to prison.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
And then the same thing happened to Bush. When Bush, they talked a lot of shit about Bush, but I think he was for a country and he was the president. But some of the guys in his cabinet and people that was around him, they wanted money and oil, and they were in the oil.
Rumsfeld and Cheney had been eyeballing that part of the world for quite some time.
So you really can't get mad at him. Trump, listen. Trump will give you more material than you will ever be able to hold to be mad at him for. But like I said, preliminary, this isn't a final report or anything, but it looks like he didn't do anything. The people around him was really trying to do all the fuck
or at
shit,
the very least, he has insulated himself to the point where there's just an infinite wall of fall guys in between him and accountability. Well, and that
is fine.
Yeah, cats in here. That's why I looked over there. I saw the door open. I think he did the knob. He's a weird cat, but you know, even if even if Trump had colluded, right, and we were at this point in this, and from what I understand too, though, the report that just came out is the third-party report that Trump paid for. Yeah, the full details of the Mueller probe haven't been exactly released yet.
Yeah, they're working on getting it released without it being redacted as fuck, like the 9/11 Commission.
And you know
report.
It's going to be for the next 10 years. We'll never know exactly what's going on.
Oh no,
here.
fuck no.
Because whether he's Trump or not, he's still the president. And must be redacted.
Yeah, if you don't respect the guy, respect the office.
Yeah, and so that
goes over a lot of people's heads.
Yeah, and so. Even if that was the case, and this is something I'd kind of been trying to explain to people I knew who were all excited about this Mueller probe because they were going to, impeach this guy and put Mike Pence in charge? That's
right.
That'd be better.
Right.
We're through the looking glass on the amount of time it takes to impeach someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
We're having an election next year.
Yeah. Yeah,
he's gonna serve out this term.
Yeah, he's gone. And the Democrats, they were all for 2 years. We're gonna impeach him. We're gonna get him out of here. They gotta go. But you ran out of time. And I knew like a week ago when Pelosi came on, it was like, impeaching him really isn't the best move for this country. I was like, that report is shit.
Yeah,
it is
garbage.
Not as good as they've been making it to seem like. And
I think she
understands. Right.
Yeah, and I think she understands too how the actual machines of the wheels of politics work, and it doesn't work that fucking way.
No, it doesn't.
Like we don't like this guy, let's impeach him.
Yeah.
They tried to do that for 8 years. They were screaming about impeaching Obama, and he had nowhere near this level of bullshit hanging over his head.
If Obama even had a hint of this shit, they probably would have set up some sort of public execution for him on some bullshit. That would have really divided the country on some next level civil war shit.
Yeah,
but no,
I don't think so.
No.
It's all
what happened the last time we impeached the president. He literally had his dick in a girl's mouth in the Oval Office, and then he put semen on her dress.
Yeah.
And I remember they had the fucking
the Star
dress,
Report or whatever that was.
Yeah. And he had the dress on a hanger, and it was like one of those dry cleaning plastic shit over, and he was like, see this? You see this right here? Was this white stain right here?
God.
Yeah, it ain't coffee cream or no, that's semen from the president.
What a disgusting time for our country too.
It was horrible.
I was just getting to the age where I was interested in things like that, and I remember reading the Star Report and be like, this is pornography.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It is.
And it was totally unnecessary. And, and again, so there's a guy who, was hated by his opposition, and they were dying for the opportunity, and they impeached him, and they still couldn't actually get him out of the office. And everything went on and to be exactly the fucking same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
And then that's the deal with Trump. Is day to day, we're all living the exact same lives. I agree that he's infuriating. I agree that I felt better going to sleep at night when Obama was president because I knew that if he had to give a speech in front of another country, he would be measured and intelligent and say the right thing. Yeah. And, and maybe
Trump is like how I am on Twitter.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that way.
No.
Because I will go on Twitter and be like, I don't give a fuck what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
And you can hate Trump all you want. I'm not a Trump fan, but I mean, when he's right, he's right, you know?
And most of the shit you're talking about is fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Whatever your beef is almost always dumb as shit.
Yeah.
It's just
fuck. Yeah.
Cardinals fans.
Yeah, if you haven't checked it out, I don't know when we're gonna post this.
It'll
but
be episode 163.
163 for the 1 gram
podcast.
army is gonna be amazing. But yeah, let me go down the list. I want to get into this on these season 3 episodes that we do, because I know how we stray from the path or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
we do.
I'm gonna go through the list. Robert Hanssen, he was one thing, he was from Chicago, and then one thing that I read was that there was a very famous mayor of Chicago. I can't remember his name.
Richard Daley, probably.
Richard Daley, yeah. And he said that the FBI picked up a transcript or an audio something, and he was like, you guys should run your country like Richard Daley. And in the Wikipedia article, it was like the FBI should have known that only a guy from Chicago would really say something like that. So let's look at all the people in the FBI that are from Chicago and start working on those guys, but they didn't. So
that's weird that they didn't, because definitely only someone from Chicago would say that. You could, as a matter of fact, we could do corrupt Chicago politicians as a whole nother season of your podcast. But
I like the thing that I looked up Richard Daley, and then it was like he has a weird way of talking, and it resonated with me because I do that too, where you think faster than you talk. So sometimes I might say something weird. Yeah. And I was like, that's just, the guy has a lot to say. So fuck it, whatever. He
was a mess, and his son was the mayor of Chicago for quite some time.
Oh, really?
Too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then Rahm Emanuel replaced him, who was like Obama's boy, and that guy was also a corrupt scumbag.
Yeah.
It was always funny to me that no one ever went after Obama for his ties to Chicago politics. I guess just because those ties have so many other fucking strings attached to them that there's almost no one anywhere who's willing to pull on one of those threads.
No, fuck no.
You know what I mean? Like the threads
no.
of that tapestry just start unweaving across the whole country.
I feel like it was one of those things where it's like you could have gone at Obama for many things that were literally legit. You guys just got into the fact that he was just a black president and that he was a Democrat. That was the two things that they always went at him at. Even low key, it was like, well, a lot of this criticism is just because he's black, or just because he's a politician, or he wanted universal health care. And Obama was so good at giving speeches that when he said universal health care, my dumbass was like, so we don't have to pay for health care anymore? Oh, that's awesome. No, it turned out into, it's a law mandating you to have health care. And if you don't, they're going to tax you on top of the taxes that they've been taking out. Yeah. And I was like, well, listen.
And we're still going to spend gazillions of tax dollars on health care. We didn't fix anything, essentially.
No, we didn't fix a damn thing.
And, well, and that's the funny thing about all of that. And I'll wrap this Obama thing up on this. But that was always my thing, is I would talk to somebody who was like one of these fuck Obama guys, and I would be like, oh, well, I can have some of this conversation because I voted for the guy, he tricked me. Yeah. He tricked me once, and then the second time I was like, well, not Romney, right? But so I would be like, oh, well, here's these things that I disagree with. He re-signed the Patriot Act. He didn't close Guantanamo Bay. No. He didn't pull us out of the Middle East. He's continued to bomb civilians. He did all these things that I human rights violations globally that we were doing under Bush that I had strong disagreements with as a human being. Yeah. He continued to do those things. Right. But those people don't give a shit about any of that.
No, they don't.
They would be fucking, he wore a tan suit. And I'm like,
oh, God damn it. Do you remember when that shit happened and fucking Fox News almost imploded that day?
The tan I was like, suit.
I'm like, look, if I ever become president, if you mad now, motherfucker, you're going to be pissed.
The picture of him riding a bike, Fox News would do shit like they'd put a picture of him riding a bike next to Putin on a horse. Yeah. It was weird how they groomed us for this Putin-Russia thing. Right. Where they kind of softened the blow of Russia manipulating our politics that way.
For years, Russia has been the big bad enemy. And then if you really know, you know that Russia hasn't been a legit threat to our country since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah. That back then it was like, oh shit, maybe they will just fucking try to bomb
Although if
us,
you're looking for a world leader who is a proper fucking scumbag dictator who has shit on his own people at every turn, who should not be trusted, and who any leader of the United States should renounce wholeheartedly, it's fucking Vladimir Putin. Yeah. And then but this weird right-wing media group was like, just slowly like, well, look, this guy's white and this guy's black. Well, see, why can't we get this guy like this in office? And then here we are.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's exactly what we got.
Yeah.
Because fucking Trump one day was like, make America great again. And then everybody was like, yes! That's what I've been waiting for the past 8 years.
Have you heard Obama say make America? No, it was Clinton. Hold on a second.
But hold on, while you're looking up that, Robert
up.
Hanssen from Chicago serving 15 life sentences at ADX because he's a butt fucking traitor to his country. Spy for Russia from 79 to 01. FBI double agent. The movie Breach was about him. He did it for money. Russia didn't know his real ID. He took a plea deal to escape the death penalty, which is bullshit. Turned on his country for 1.4 milli. That's what I wrote down.
Nice.
And then right underneath of that, I put dumb face having ass, and all of that is true.
Pretty much sums it up. But yeah, I would recommend to listeners to go look this guy up. But I mean, I feel like you nailed all the big points. He's
He's like I said, his story is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, he's one of the inmates of AdMax, though, and that's the point of your whole season here. And if you'd like, I'll close it out with something you probably didn't know existed.
Yeah, let's do that.
I believe that together we can make America great again.
Ooh, that's Bill Clinton.
Yep.
It's all the same shit.
I
It's
believe
all
that together we can make America great again.
There you go.
Yep. Time is a flat
There you
circle,
go. And,
folks.
no matter how much you hate that slogan, "Make America Great Again," we should all want to make America great again. Just how we go about doing it is what we disagree upon.
Well, and my concern though is the again part, because I'm always like, well, what do you mean?
Yeah, and that's
What do you
another
mean?
thing.
What do you mean again?
Yeah, when did America really fall off?
Yeah.
Because,
And wait, what do you mean again? You mean like the 50s?
Yeah, like
I
what
don't
do you
think most of us.
And see, that's what the division
50% of the
in.
people in this room wouldn't want to do that.
No, fuck no. You goddamn right. I'd be.
I'm kidding too, because I
wouldn't.
wouldn't either, because I enjoy the company of black people. But,
yeah, if I get on a bus, don't make me sit in the back because I'm gonna act up, and nobody wants to see.
Wow,
that.
my
But
girlfriend's
anyway.
sure calling me a lot.
Yeah.
It's a good time to wrap things up.
Yes, take care of that phone call because otherwise it will turn into
More phone calls.
More phone calls, yeah. Be sure to subscribe to Pod Caviar. 443-747-1417 is the number to get in touch with Pod Caviar. Be sure to, see, I told you. Be sure to subscribe to the 1 Gram Army. Graham has a great podcast. I am a recurring character on that podcast, and it's an amazing thing. Our podcast really... what the fuck is going on? That sounds like The Matrix. Holy shit. Our podcast, their companion podcast, they work together very well. Peanut butter and jelly, so to speak. Be sure to check out Shirt Caviar. I have the biggest selection of clothing on that website, and I'm talking not just shirts. I think that the logo of the company or the slogan should be more than shirts, because I have a whole women's boutique. I have lingerie, jewelry, bags, shoes, everything. There is a $20 and below section. There are seasonal shirts. I was wearing the what is it? The St. Patrick's Day shirt.
That was some good shit.
Yeah.
Get them now. Be ready for next year.
Listen, we have stuff on that website that is as low as $2. I try to keep it no higher than $25. So check out Shirt Caviar. See what you can find. And if you buy something from Shirt Caviar, send me a picture and I will promote you and I will show love to you just like you showed love to me. Thank you for listening to Pod Caviar. This has been another great episode. Season 3 is going great, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. That is Graham. I am Tony, and we are out.
I believe that together we can make America great again.